Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at a really competitive match. It comes all the way down to the very end of the match. I am in my Montana. This is the Tier 10 American Battleship, and my build is on the screen. It's the same build that I've been running on the Monty for the last couple of months, and I really like it. It leverages the Legendary. It has almost double rudder because Legendary functions as that, and because it's American, slot 3, we got the benefit from the fast turret traverse. They took the penalty away for reload, so there's literally no downside to equipping that for the Montana, the Iowa, or even the North Carolina. So hopefully you guys enjoy the game. I certainly enjoy this ship enough that I play it very frequently, so we're going to see how well this works out. Now, initially, teammate went for B, and I'm trying to give him A protection, which clearly the enemy aircraft carrier does not like him, and I'm trying to do it safely. You know, I want to be close to the front, but I don't want to be taking damage from 5 or 6 ships. And I don't really have my shells facing forward. They're facing to the right side where this enemy battleship is trying to sail over towards Sea Point. So I figure, not the best shot to get the ship that's going across over to sea. It's much better if I can position myself so I can fire on these enemies that are over by A Point, because on this map, Greece, they always have a lot of ships that stack up on the northwest side of the map around those islands, and if I can get a really nice broadside or even just a solid shot, that could be enough to turn the ship away, and maybe we can capture A Point. Who knows? And we got an enemy Bismarck, but there's also a Cleveland that showed up going right towards sea just as the battleship that turned away. So I have this choice. I can either take damage from the enemy, and we're doing pretty well at angling just in the nick of time so that that small caliber of the Bismarck can't do as much damage. But I figure once that Cleveland spotted, that's probably the better target to hopefully punish. But of course, he drops off detection and our guns are ready to fire. Would love him to be spotted, and lo and behold, he gives us the spot that we're looking for. Aim at the waterline and hope they go in. He is definitely in trouble, though, and we get a little overpen. One Citadel. If we could have gotten another Citadel, maybe would have knocked him out completely. Friendly, someone, follows up with a nice big broadside as well, and he's literally one shot away from dying, and that's a great start. On this flank, there is something capturing C Point. My teammate was successful capturing B. We were also successful at capturing A. This is really the fight area of the map, because the enemy has to come forward to contest, and when they're contesting, you can take advantage. So I'm just hoping that I can catch sight of this Cleveland, and it would have been a lot easier if our aircraft carrier could spot him, but, you know, there's a million things going on in this map. If he goes towards the Cleveland, I don't know, maybe a friendly takes him out, so I'm sort of in a weird holding pattern, just hoping to catch sight of him, and we do catch sight of him. Now, one technique that you need to make use of, and it's the reason why my Montana is so accurate, is lining up your shell so it intersects on the minimap as well. That way, whenever you fire on the target, you actually are firing on the direction he's headed. It's not just a visual. I'm using what my binoculars are showing, but I'm also putting the pieces together based on the minimap as well. And of course, led to a nice little kill there. The Cleveland couldn't really get out, and he showed too much side. Enemy Iowa, the same Iowa was the one that was going towards Sea Point earlier on, and he broke away. We're hoping to try and punish him for doing just what he wanted to, eventually working himself over there. And we don't really do as much as I would have liked, but we do 9,000, so I'm not going to complain. While all this is going on, though, there is one DD that has just been radar spotted in at Sea Point, and one of the best things that you can do as a battleship is not allow the torpedo to influence your play so that you can sort of pressure the target. That's one of the reasons why getting rid of the DD as soon as possible is worth more in the long run as a battleship commander. And we send out 12 shells and only one overpins that gearing? Really? That's what you're going to give me, game? But if we can take the gearing out, the enemy DD that's left would be on the other side of the map. I could freely sail up to Sea Point and potentially, bully my way into a cap. And this Iowa is broadside in a typical Des Moines camping position, but it's not a good camping position for him, and we definitely show him who's boss. Yeah, 11,000 damage. No Citadel, but 11,000. And the return fire, not that bad, honestly. It does look like the Iowa is definitely reacting. And he does have a teammate. Wow, there's like 3 ships all around this island. Can we get a Citadel? Can we punish it? I really would like to. There is a lot of enemy ships over here. I think, honestly, they have the exact same amount. Not the kind of damage I wanted. We had 3 ricochets and 3 pin, and honestly, I think 1 pinned for real damage. The other ones probably did damage to the turrets, and I don't really care. I don't really care. I figure I would kill him before his turrets are ever an issue. But we're still in the area. I would love to move forward. As a player, I really disagree with limbing trains pushing deep into enemy territory. I find that they lead to too frequently where there's a counter throw and your team is split up or too spread out, or they're going too hard for the kills. And all of that combined, it normally ends up causing the game to not go in our way. So I really don't want people to feel any urgency at all to push forward in this position. We have 2 bases. They only have 1. They need to make a play. We need to just manage correctly and not take too much damage. Easier said than done, right? Like, what if this gearing sent torpedoes at that opening and I just blindly sailed in that area? I would take tons of damage and I would regret that. As it stands, we do end up catching nice sight of the gearing. I think that was a friendly radar from that Kronstadt, and we did 5k. So 5k isn't a small number. That gearing is definitely going to feel it, and of course he's retreating. So as he's pulling back, we know that his torpedoes can't actually hurt us. It's really that simple. If you can try and take the enemy apart when their strongest class counter against you is off the flank or distracted, that's the perfect opportunity for you to take full advantage of what you're so good at. You know, battleships are really good at killing cruisers and really good at doing damage against other battleships. They're not very good at killing DDs, but if a DD is not on the flank or you kill them, then it opens up even more devastating plays. You don't want to just stay back firing every cooldown. You know, you're going to get damage, but you're not going to get the kind of damage that could open a flank up so that your team can, you know, drive in. Part of playing a battleship, and I try and do this, and it can happen this way or not, is really putting your health there so that your teammates don't have to. You know? Too many times I see players who refuse to use any part of their health, and they find that there's no one left on their team that can actually fight. So what did you actually gain by refusing to use any of your health? You didn't really gain anything. So it's kind of a trap for players to sit on their health for so long. There are plenty of opportunities where you can push into the enemy and take advantage of it. And we're trying to catch the Ibuki. He did look like he was slow. Unfortunately, he was just fast enough to move out of the way of our shells. One of the issues with the American battleship shells. From a distance, there is plenty of time for the opponent to angle or maneuver out of the area. So I'm all here. I could go into sea, but there is a DD there. There is a cruiser there as well. There's battleships. It's really dangerous. So instead of pushing forward, I decide, let's go back to the center of the map. Maybe we can lull targets closer who are looking to take advantage of the fact that, you know, the middle of the maps might be open. The Azuma takes a full 4-pin for a massive amount of damage as he's moving into B point. Perfect opportunity taken. And we are not putting ourselves in a crazy position. You know, we're not throwing our ship away by being too close to DDs or going against 4 or 5 enemy ships at once. It's never going to work out in your favor. There is a little bit of scouting going on between the aircraft and also the enemy aircraft. B is definitely spotted. The Ibuki tries to fire on us. I do a little bit of a maneuver. So what I like to do, especially with the Montana, is leveraging the legendary plus double rudder. So legendary gives you rudder, and then the rudder shift module combined. Put this in like a tier 8 battleship or even a cruiser level of maneuverability. Nothing like the Conqueror, of course, on the Thunderer. That's a ridiculous. But making it more maneuverable, every second that you are turning your ship in response to shells incoming is throwing the shell off further and further. So when the Ibuki decided to fire, I immediately hit the rudder so that I would throw it off in one way or other. And, you know, worst case scenario, you don't. But best case scenario, the shell hits your guns or it hits the water. It hits somewhere where it's not as vulnerable. And it seems to work very frequently. So we were continuously moving over from east to west. There is this Azuma, which I would love to punish. Friendly has to smoke out because the aircraft. I would love to be super close to him, but I'm also afraid of torpedoes. So I have to ride this line where there's a Kremlin, there's an Azuma. I don't want to be too close. I certainly don't want to be broad. I really just want the target spotted, and I want to kill him before they can hurt my teammate. And we're sort of using his health as a bait. And at the time, he knows he's a bait. He's the best bait. One that everyone wants to kill. And this Azuma, we're inching slowly to show broadside. Aim at the waterline, hoping that it's going to land. And oh, yeah, it landed. 40,000 damage. The Kremlin returns fire. We get fortunate. Oh, he's returning fire. Got to change the rudder. By moving the rudder, we are closing up his maybe pre-aimed position citadel. He was trying to catch us broadside and not changing our rudder either back or forward. Because we chose to close the distance, it throws the shot off high, and we take almost no damage. Whereas some players might use distance exclusively. You can use distance and maneuvering to, always moving forward or always gaining the advantage, but not taking the kill shot. So we are obviously looking to pounce on this Kremlin. Enemy Bismarck either disconnected or is at max range. Either way, it doesn't matter. The Monty, highest damage per minute in the game as a tier 10 battleship, knocks him out. And enemy Kremlin, of course, he's looking to try and go after my teammate. It looks like teammates actually killed the enemy Kremlin fast enough that we actually still have Rootin' Tootin'. He's still alive, barely. And I'm able to actually take advantage of this because there's no one defending the Ibuki. And I wait until he softens his angle, and it looks like he's going to just continue that turn right into the shells. And we do massive damage, but no Citadel. We do earn Confederate, which is nice. And no one can see us because they're all behind islands. Because we do have that teammate over there. It's pretty good. And you might be going, wow, look at this game. This is going great. Everything is working out perfectly. Just when you thought, oh no, my teammates, they're going to do a great job. They're going to win the game. There's not going to be any throw possibility. There's a throw possibility. So we're going to have to try and deal with that. Friendlies are pushing into the primary flank of the enemy. And yep, sure enough, Amalfi's dead to his tier 10 counterpart. And we're down on another ship. So friendly Rudin, he's very low, very vulnerable. He could die at any moment. And that would be another ship. So real fast, this advantage goes away very quickly. And I'm over here like, okay, just keep playing correctly. There is a possibility that this Ibuki would look to torpedo. So I don't want to just come aggressively around an island without any thought put forth. I've got to really consider, okay, how much information does he have? Does he see me? Does he expect from the angle that he is presenting to send a torpedo or had already sent it? That's always a risk with Japanese cruisers. The fact that they have torpedoes that could be the difference maker, whereas you clearly don't. So we're staying back. We're not chasing blindly, because I think if I chase blindly, I will find myself in a very dangerous spot. And yep, sure enough, the Ibuki did send all of his torpedoes. We don't know where the gearing is. This is just very dangerous. And on top of that, I'm taking crossfire from the Lion. So I definitely feel out there. I definitely feel like this is probably a bad call. But the game is so close to being over that I figure, you know, the risk is worth it if we can get a kill. The risk could be worth it if we could be getting a kill. It's whether we get the kill and whether our teammates do a good job of surviving. That's the issue. And yep, very, very vulnerable. Both sides of the map can actually engage me. I'm trying to maintain good enough angle that the Iowa could not citadel me. Another great technique that Battleship players definitely desperately need to, and yeah, aim for the superstructure. And notice that smoke. Notice that smoke cloud off to my right side. That is not a recently released smoke cloud for my team. That is the gearing. The gearing is there. So, this is not good. The Zeppelin just died. My friendly DD is very low. I'm over here going, oh, these torpedoes? Thank you very much, Rutan. Definitely needed that. Maybe we just win the game. I don't have the clearest shot. I was hoping that the enemy would keep firing his guns. He decides not to. That's the worst thing you can see as a battleship. That should communicate that the torpedoes are being sent and that they could absolutely hurt me or someone around me. So I'm not going to get as close as maybe I wanted to get because I'm so annoyed by this Ibuki. He's playing so well at moving away from me. But my teammates, we've got 3 friendlies that are all stacked up in the center of the map. They have a line, they have a gearing, they have their aircraft carrier. We are not guaranteed a win here, guys, and we need to stop dying, and there's no point in throwing our lives away. But this is enemy Ibuki, firing at range. It's so annoying, and yep, oh, we got a citadel. That was a big pickup. Is this enough to kill him? Did we do enough lead? Not enough, but we did get him low enough that he's probably going to hold his fire. Enemy Lexington finishes off the Friesland. Rutan is barely alive too, and the friendly Bismarck, he's sailing right into the enemy, and he's going to take 3 torpedoes, die, and I'm going, oh no. Is this really it? Is this how my team ends up throwing this game with a minute left in it? I mean, I wouldn't blame Rutan for dying, because he's clearly a low-health DD, and there's an aircraft carrier. But it's really frustrating, and oh, what is this? Enemy gearing. He gets a little antsy. I think he was looking to spot the friendly, the Rutan, with his body, but the aircraft's going to do it. But he shows exactly what his intentions are. He was just barely out of the safety, and we are the last hope. Well, that's great. 40 seconds left. If all the enemy decided to fire on us, we may or may not survive. I'm going, oh, crap. So the difference is, you know, about 30 points. We had the exact same amount of ships alive, and all of a sudden we don't. It's 1 versus 5. But my team held on 2 bases to 1 for an extremely long time in this game. And we have great angle to all of the incoming threats. We should be able to survive this just barely, and it is just barely. I don't understand. Why do people have to win harder? All it ends up doing is making it a harder win, and I don't like that. But we got 179,000 damage done. Confederate, First Blood, Devastating Strike, Dreadnought, Solo Warrior. Never had that earned on a battleship, and man, we needed it. My gosh, our team nearly figured out a way to lose this game, and we had such a giant advantage. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to check out more of my content, you can click the most recent or the most relevant uploads. You could also choose to subscribe to my channel. We do daily Waters videos, first impression, how-to, news, and review related. My North American recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.